All right, everybody, welcome out to another episode of Windshield Time at Mountainland Supply. I am Joey. I am joined by Spencer R. Shorts, Esquire III.
That's me.
And Bruce Samuel Egbert the First.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's always a pleasure to have you here, bud. Today we are going to be kind of reviewing the first quarter and maybe the last month or two of financials so that you guys can have a glimpse into the health of the company from a financial standpoint. We have a few goals this past year that Bruce is going to touch on. One was to reduce our spending, keep some limits on that, and then to move inventory around, rebalance that inventory. So, Bruce, how are we looking?
Things are looking good. It's interesting to me.
And that's all for our show today.
And we're done.
Yep.
It's interesting because I go back. We've spent a lot of time on budgets.
Yeah.
A lot.
Nauseatingly amount of time.
I look at budgets. Some might consider it a 4-letter word. I think it's disrespectful. We've done budgets in the past.
Yeah.
But just the focus this year on them.
Yeah.
I go back to this company. The collective power of Mountainland is an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah.
When we started doing budgets, I'm like, okay, we're a huge company. This is going to take time to get traction.
Yeah.
And after the first month, it was amazing how much progress we had made.
You get that many talented people going after the same goals, and you're going to make some quick changes.
It's amazing to me how quickly we made changes. And I go back to what was the reason why we were doing those budgeting changes. And I think collectively as a company, we want to see our ESOP value go up.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to bonus.
Yep.
Those two things. And I love that about our company. We're not making changes so some shareholders somewhere in a far off land are making money off of us.
Right.
Like this money stays with us.
Yep.
And I think that probably speaks to the collective power. It's like we recognize that the changes that we're making are benefiting all of us.
Yeah. And every cost saving measure, every profit increasing measure, everything you do directly influences the ability for everybody around you to benefit financially. And that's, we all love each other and we all love to work with each other, but ultimately we come to work in order to make money to support our families.
Absolutely.
So
it's cool to see.
Yeah.
So with that kind of establishing the baseline, focusing heavily on budgets, closing out the first quarter, we were able to do a bonus, which is awesome. Being able to switch to, instead of a yearly bonus, doing quarterly bonus. I think it helps better track with the progress that we're making as a company. And so maybe to talk a little bit about how we've done August through November.
Yeah.
So to add maybe the first month of the second quarter. From a growth standpoint, we're up 21%.
In revenue.
Yeah. And I think that's important because, again, when we go back to the yearly goals, we didn't have a growth goal.
Right.
The goal was to just strengthen what we already have, to focus on our core processes, just to get
definitely
back to
not
basics.
To grow anything geographically or vertically.
Right. And so it's so interesting is because generally in finance, when you're growing, you're sacrificing profitability.
Right.
So that's why we said, hey, let's not grow this year. Let's just focus on getting back to basics. And we'll get to some of the numbers, but to be able to grow at 21% and still do some of the not even profiting, but still increasing profit. Yeah. That's a huge deal.
It's massive. And it's not without a lot of effort, obviously.
Absolutely.
You have, like we said earlier, you get this many talented people doing the right things, you're going to have amazing results. Yeah. But it's just the amount of focus has been incredible. So 21% growth in revenue over the first quarter. Are you including December in that?
No. So that's just August through November.
Okay.
But what we're looking at is, again, we're 7 days into January.
Yep.
Mike Munson, BJ, McKaylee, RJ, they're doing a great job.
They probably almost have December
They're almost
closed out.
done.
Yeah.
But it looks like from a revenue perspective, we're about 10% over budget for December.
Which is awesome.
Because, again, you look at some of the slower months of the December, January, February, to be able to perform above budget in those months means really good things.
Well,
across the board.
this past year, 2024, was especially difficult for the holiday season because you had a midweek holiday.
Yeah.
So when you have Christmas and New Year's that land on Wednesday, it can go one of two ways.
Yeah.
It can be like everybody just says, okay, we're going to work hard Tuesday and Thursday, you know?
Yeah.
But most of the time it means I'm going to take off Wednesday through the next Monday. And the numbers would say that that did not happen.
Right.
Anecdotally, I think it did happen quite a
Absolutely,
bit.
yeah.
But I think the numbers are proving that we weathered that very well.
Isn't it weird that now we're looking at, like, I've never in my life looked at Christmas like, please don't fall on a Wednesday.
Give me a Monday or a Friday.
Because there's sales days on the tail end, and it's just.
And then you start counting everything in the number of sales days you have in a month.
Exactly.
It's a weird thing to be in. And until you're in a position where you're dependent upon those sales days, like truly dependent, you don't even pay attention to them.
That's true.
I remember I didn't really pay attention until like I got into outside sales, and I'm like, man, there's like three missing
what happened
days
in this month?
What's going on here?
Yeah. It's interesting. So the next piece I think that is even more appealing to me in the finance department. So one of the goals that we had was to reduce operating expenses by 1%. So again, August through November, our operating expenses are down as a percentage of revenue. They are down. Oh, I should have done the math before I was looking at these numbers.
What's going to help this is your revenue's up 21%.
Yeah.
So that's going to cushion you for your percentage of revenue.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we're at about 1.45% down.
Oh, there's those wonderful sound effects.
That was very well timed.
So you're up 21% in revenue, down 1.45% in expense.
Yep.
Where's a lot of that coming from?
So a lot of that's coming from a lot of different areas. Personnel expense is a big contributor to that.
So good job, everybody, holding overtime to a minimum, watching your skeleton crews when they can be skeleton crews, that sort of thing.
Shout out to Tim White.
Timmy.
Tim has done a great job.
Selling expense
with our marketing programs.
Yeah.
I feel there's been this harmonious relationship, if I can.
A coming together.
Yeah, of just marketing and finance coming together.
Yeah.
There's a lot to manage in marketing with the different programs that we're involved in, the trips, the customer experiences. And to Tim's credit, he's done a great job managing that.
Yeah.
And so to take the Excel skills of the finance department and complement that with what Tim's vision is, like he's doing a really good job of managing that department, of managing all the spend that goes in and out. And more importantly, not just managing the spend, making sure the spend is driving the right behaviors that we want as a company.
That's one thing that Tim has always been really good at, and I think he just keeps getting better, is finding things that are intentional.
Yeah.
You know, they look at these programs, and I think Calvert's talked about it on the podcast before, but they look at every program as cost per touch. So what does this marketing initiative do, and how many people does it reach, and how much are we paying to have it reach those people? Yeah. And when they started looking at things with that metric in mind, they started doing things a lot more efficiently. And again, marketing is an imperfect science. You're never going to prove it out on paper that it's worth it. You have to take it in the balance of things. It's in the aggregate. So,
doing a great job. And I think the other thing is, I think there was a lot of comments made about last year's performance, like the death by 1,000 cuts.
Yep.
So it's almost the reverse now. Almost every single category is below budget in terms of spend. So it's across the board. People being more conscious of what they're doing.
Paying attention.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me. I think we've done a really good job historically with our branch budgets. And now with the budgeting that we're doing with our sales verticals, seeing the sales managers get involved, they're competing skills, right? Selling, managing budgets, but it's amazing to see the engagement of everyone across our company and what that's doing.
You know what's been interesting to me? Sales people, just by their nature, are driven to perform.
Yep.
They're driven by competition a lot of times. And so I think they've kind of taken this on as a competition. You know, I can underspend your department. Watch. You know, I can be more efficient. Yeah. Oh, that's great that you got all those sales, but how much did it cost to get those sales?
Exactly.
It's been interesting to watch them have those types of conversations. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
And that's very respectful of the ESOP that we're part of.
Absolutely. And the relationships have been tested.
Yeah.
I remember when
Forged.
budgets came out, and I would walk into rooms with certain salespeople, and it would be like a scattering.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to come back together.
Yeah.
Olive branches have been extended, and it's just, and again, it goes back to we're doing this for each other. We're doing this for the ESOP.
Well, and you've always taken that the approach of, hey, it's not always no
Right.
definitively. It's no for now. Prove to me why it needs to be a yes.
Yep.
And if it's a compelling enough argument, absolutely, we'll look at it.
Yeah, because the last thing that we want to do is we don't want to detract from the customer experience.
Yep. Or stifle growth.
We don't want to prevent people from being able to service their customers, doing their jobs, driving our company forward. Those are the behaviors we want to encourage.
Right.
It's just taking a step back and saying, is what we're doing, does it make sense?
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that.
It's been awesome to see. Honestly, I've been trying to be a wet blanket for a really long time. And there's moments where it's really, really difficult to do that.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. And I think the other thing to point on or to touch on is the work that our purchasing department's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the other goals outside of driving expenses down 1% is to get inventory to a healthier level. And we had goals specific to what we wanted our inventory total to be by the end of the year.
Yep.
And the work that they've been doing over the last, it's really been building for the last couple of years with the work Danny's doing, with Matt, with Duncan. Everyone in purchasing, just the work that they're doing. I was talking to Matt Scott before I came in here, and our inventory is down 10% since the beginning of the year.
So inventory down, sales up.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense, right?
Those are nice things to
Those
have.
are like, and that's the thing that's so cool to see is, again, you look at all these goals and it's like in isolation, it'd be really easy to do one of them.
Yeah.
But to do all of them and to grow at 21%, that's
amazing.
It really is.
So talk to the people just a little bit about the product mix that we
Yeah.
were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So one of the things that I love is data.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt and Duncan,
Nerd alert.
they've done a really great job of giving people data.
Yeah.
So the focus on A, B, C items, we want to get A items in our inventory sitting at 65%, B items sitting at 10%, 20%.
20%.
So we're at 85%.
Yeah.
So the
Everything
mix,
else makes up the aggregate.
So they have all the data showing back to here's what was happening when we started and here's what it looks like now. So our A items are now sitting at 25%. Still have a lot to make up.
Yeah.
But again, it's a huge ship.
And you've grown 6% while increasing your revenue by 21%.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
you're getting, because basically what you're selling is A inventory.
Absolutely.
So you're getting rid of all that
Yeah.
A inventory, and your mix is getting better.
Yeah.
So that's incredible.
And B items are sitting at 17%.
Which that's much healthier
Yeah.
than when we started the year too.
Yeah, and so you look at all of this, it's what the work that they're doing, getting the mix right is helping drive revenue.
It's been a Herculean effort.
Yeah.
And we knew that it would be, and we all had pity for Matt. But man, God bless him and his team.
He's doing a great job.
Those guys are amazing.
And every week they're coming up with new ways of looking at things. And that's what I appreciate so much is a lot of what's happening in the data world is if you have bad data, you get bad in, bad out.
Put crap in, get crap out.
And so oftentimes with how quickly we've been growing, it's been easier to put a Band-Aid on something than fix the core issue.
Yep.
And they're going back and fixing core issues. And unfortunately, some of these issues go back decades.
They're compounded.
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about inventory.
Somewhere, somehow. And the work that they're doing to uncover those and more importantly, fix them so they don't happen again.
Yep.
Like we could go on and on about the work that they're doing, but it's amazing. It's really cool to see.
It's unbelievable.
And it takes a team effort. I mean, we could go through all the people in purchasing that have done a great job to help us get to where we are.
Yeah. And probably should.
Yeah.
Can't, but we probably should.
Absolutely. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day we'll bring them all in.
Yeah. Just have the
little round table.
Yeah. Your applause just happen.
Yeah.
Thing.
So product mix is getting better.
Yeah.
Revenues are up. Yep. Expenses are down.
Yeah.
So first quarter performance, obviously we did well because we had a bonus come out on December 5th.
Yep.
What and just give them a little sneak peek as to what December's kind of looking like. Understand that these are not final numbers with that disclaimer.
This is like the worst question to ask a finance person.
Yeah, I know.
Can you work in this ambiguity, this middle space?
Give me the abstract.
December's looking good.
Good.
It's looking better than anticipated. Again, when you go back into the history of our company, the months of December, January, February, those have always been historically harder months.
The lowest.
The lowest.
Of the
You got
calendar.
weather, you got cold, you got just lots of different issues happening. But with some of the diversification we've been doing, it's made those months better.
Yeah.
And so I think when we go back to the expense control piece, the momentum we're having on the sales side, all these things, the product mix fix, like it's setting us up to have a really great second quarter. So I'm optimistic about December. I'm really optimistic about January.
Yeah.
Because January really is like one of the hardest months.
Yeah.
And when we're looking at the sales days happening the way that they have, like there's a lot of great momentum.
There's a lot to be excited for. So people want to know usually two things. Are things going to be changing here for the worse? And am I going to get paid? You know, as you see it right now, what's your optimism for the next quarter or this quarter that we're in right now?
I'm more excited about this quarter than I probably have been about any other quarter.
It's awesome.
Because when you look at it,
part of it is we set up the expectations really low. Well, lower. Managing expectations is important.
Yeah, we in our budgeting process, we budgeted appropriately for these months.
Yep.
But again, it's if we can make progress, it's really, really hard for us to make progress in the fourth quarter because historically we've always done so much revenue push through these buildings that it's hard to add more.
Right. Because the machine can only spin so fast.
You can't physically do more.
Right.
But if you make progress in the second quarter, that's where we will see a huge benefit across the company.
Yeah.
So, and I just see the progress and the momentum. It's just, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm more optimistic than I ever have been. So I have to like go back and
How's
look
that
at
feel?
myself. It feels weird.
Yeah, you feel dirty almost.
Foreign, almost. Like, what's this weird feeling? Happiness and joy, optimism.
This is optimism? I don't know if I like this.
Yeah. And I just open up Excel and just put some stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Bring myself back.
Happy place. Which is why for those of you who can't see, he has his laptop with him.
It's my security blanket.
Yeah, it's his security blanket.
Just,
it's okay, though.
Well, and honestly, the work that the finance team has done to make the data available.
Yeah.
Like we can pull up anything.
It's unreal.
It's the work that
real-time access to the information is unbelievable.
And it feels good to have a computer here just in case.
Just warming your lap, keeping those knees warm.
Yep.
Anything else you want to share with the people?
No, just thank you guys for all you do. I know that, again, I go back to budgets. It's a collective effort. It's amazing. My career before Mountainland, and I've said this a lot, I got exposed to a lot of companies. They were doing amazing things. The reason why I came here, and I don't think I fully recognized it before getting here, was there was something special about this company. And it's just been confirmed to me time and time again with stuff like this, that we are an amazing company. And when we all move in the same direction together, we can accomplish amazing things.
Couldn't have said it better. The company is the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have amazing people.
Yeah.
And you are one of those amazing people.
You know what's hard
Tell me.
I feel like I said absolutely like 8 times during this.
You're monitoring your speech.
Yeah, I'm monitoring this.
It's kind of like amazing.
Because I'm hearing, I'm hearing Shandon Shepherd in my mind going, oh, absolutely.
Why don't you say absolutely one more time? Yeah. We all need less Shannon in our lives.
Knowing that he's living in my head is probably the scarier piece.
He's
of
taking
this
up
whole
real
thing.
estate in that brain of yours.
I'm just excited though.
Love you, Shandon. Just kidding.
Yep. Absolutely, Shandon.
All right. Thank you, Bruce.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for the update.
Yep.
And thank you, everybody out there. Enjoy the ride. See you down the road.